Teachings from Kuthumi's Hands: What Happens After Death? Part 2. In point of clarification, the newly arrived personality has the same level of knowledge and personality traits and behaviors in spiritual awareness as when they died to their physical body. There is no sudden flash of enlightenment simply because the operative consciousness has shifted to the astral form. That's the reason for the education and training by master teachers who know all too well the all-engrossing illusion and the profound ignorance that a lifetime on earth embraces. There is much remedial work to be undertaken before loftier matters can be addressed. Memory of the recently lived embodiment is fully intact at first, but the details begin to fade much like a dream fades upon awakening. The specifics of the more painful experiences fade more quickly so that they don't interfere with the cleansing and balancing to which the efforts are directed. The essence of the immediate past life is available to the astral brain, but the totality of the life in all its details remains in the subconscious storehouse, and in due time, when the personality has become more fully cleansed, they are taught how to tap the contents of the subconscious at will. This can be likened to recovering from a spell of amnesia. Each astral individual is free to do as much or as little as they wish while in that astral realm. This is in keeping with the free will expression allowed in this evolutionary scheme. As stated, the astral substance of that level of reality molds itself immediately to the contents of one's thoughts and one's beliefs and expectations. If they go to one of the upper 5 levels on the astral planes, explanation will follow, so that every astral personality will experience just exactly what they expect they are going to experience. Examples could be given ad infinitum, but the nihilist will experience nothingness, the Christian may encounter the pearly gates and a God the Father on a throne and legions of harp-strumming angels, while a Jew may have a rendezvous with Jehovah. The power of consciousness and the creative potentialities of thought will be demonstrated on the astral planes. Eventually the personality, sooner or later, will come to the suspicion or even the realization that there must be something more, and that is when their guides can help them out of the self-created hallucination and get them past the delusional blockages that arose out of the recent life on Earth. But I wanted to offer the warning that many can be entrapped by the false conceptions of the afterlife that have been taught for millennia by those who are no more cognizant of that afterlife than they are at the sweet source of their being. Whatever you believe is going to happen to you when you die is going to appear to happen to you as the astral experience conforms to the expectation, and that includes a heaven and a hell and a paradise and a purgatory, but remember that it is not real in the objective sense and has temporarily been created in your mind. There is much more to do than languishing in a personal hallucination and allowing it to hold up your progress. Once you reach out and ask your guides for help, they will gleefully extract you from the quagmire of the erroneous belief and turn you in the right direction. I am also reminded to mention that continual grieving for and holding on to someone who has passed over is a major impediment to allowing them to do the necessary things at the astral level to become eligible for merging back with the divine source of their being. The ones who grieve only for themselves, and it is a harmful, selfish emotion which holds up the progress of the loved one who transitioned. If you set them free from your clinging, you have done the most loving thing you can do for them. I realize that modern society actually supports grieving, but then look at the level of consciousness of that society. One way of looking at it, and this is the truth of the matter, when a loved one passes on and leaves behind the body that they used for a while here, the experience that they have when they melt into the absolute love of their higher self is the most indescribably joyous experience of their life. It is anything but a sad and regretful moment for the one who has leapt off of this mortal coil. Please keep this in mind when the specter of death has entered your world, and please inform the ones who are knocking on that door what kind of experience they can expect in order to spare them the unnecessary hallucinations that can only bring confusion and delay their spiritual progress. I should mention that it is much easier for children to make the transition than their older counterparts, and the younger the child the easier it is for them to make it because they are less far removed from that more expansive and unlimited state of their being. The progress of the individual in the astral realm is watched over by their guardian angel and their guides. When the time for reintegration with the higher self has come, there is no loss of the individual personality in that assimilation and merging. There is no sensation of absorption or loss but rather of being made whole and complete. It is like recovering from amnesia, and the full details of the life just lived are recalled, as are any other lifetimes that they wish to dwell upon. There is a full recall of who one really is, and it is an event of great joy. I think it would be helpful to reveal a little bit about the astral planes, since that is where most of us are going after this little go-round on planet Earth. There are 7 major divisions or levels which are called astral, and another way of describing it would be the 7 levels of the 4th density in this particular solar system. In this planetary scheme it is called astral, but on other planets with sentient life and emotional expression it would have a different name. Each of the 7 major levels has 7 sublevels, the lowest one in vibratory nature or frequency of energies being the closest to our 3rd density reality. The upper 5 major levels are called the Summerland by the Ascended Masters. If need be, go to what is an Ascended Master, anyway. As an informative aside, the astral realms and their counterparts in other evolutionary schemes exist only on planets wherein the sentient life has emotional expression and consequently an emotional or astral body, far in the minority. The astral planes of Earth began and were created by the collective consciousness during the Atlantean times, when the quiescent, nascent emotional body was nurtured, expanded, and perfected by the 4th root race of mankind, the Atlantean. These are the planes of illusion, although an important part of the human experience on this planet. The astral planes will cease to exist during the 7th root race of mankind, when the emotional body will have been transcended for higher mental development. The Summerland levels are permeated with warmth and light and automatically attract those relatively evolved individuals who have helped and nurtured and cared for others during their cycle of incarnations. The more there has been the selfless giving of self in service to others and the expansion of their spiritual awareness, the higher level to which they are drawn. The more the personality has spent their life in materialistic acquisitiveness and the serving of the self, the lower the level to which they are automatically attracted. The second lowest level is an astral realm for those who have serious problems to be worked out regarding the way that they interact with others. To it are drawn those who might be considered to be spiritually impoverished but who have not sought deliberately to inflict pain or suffering on others. The lowermost level is a darkened, malevolence-permeated wasteland filled by horrible apparitions, and where the self-tormented occupants wail endlessly for the evil they have spawned and which has so lowered their vibratory nature. It is a hellish experience to which are drawn those who have consistently treated others in a careless, cruel, and sadistic manner, for example the murderer who delights in seeing the terror and anguish of his victim. These individuals undergo a terrible torment and agony, but it is all self-inflicted by the choices they have freely made while incarnate. Their vibratory nature is such that if they were taken to a higher level, they would not be able to tolerate the energies of that level and would suffer exceedingly because of the mismatch of energies. Thus, it can be no other way, and the level to which everyone goes is a direct result of the choices that are freely made by each person as they live their life. There is no outside agency or force making condemnation or passing judgment. The process is entirely automatic and governed by the free will expression of each incarnate personality. In the lower levels of the Summerland are found those individuals who have basically led an honorable life and who have met their obligations, given respect to others, and followed the rules set down by their societies. However, the love impulse from their 4th chakra has been restrained, limited in its ability to flow freely and willingly. At a higher level of the Summerland are those who have learned to give love to all life forms but who have still not learned to use that creational power of love in the act of creation. The highest 2 levels are occupied by those who have finally learned to utilize the force, the energies of the 2nd ray, known to humans as love, to be co-creators, and it is used along with the power of the will and the mental exercise of visualization. Finally, it should be obvious from this discourse that there is no such thing as hell or Satan or mortal sin or damnation or a judgment day. They do not exist and have never existed, and I cannot be emphatic enough about it. There is not a thing to fear about the process that we call death. In fact, it is far more traumatic to be coming into a physical body, as an infant, than it is to be leaving one. With the exception of those who have preyed mercilessly upon their fellow humans, there is laughter and relief and exaltation waiting on the other side of that tunnel, and when all the astral lessons have been thoroughly learned and all the cravings and desires from earth life have been dissipated, each one will be made whole in the supreme ecstasy of reunion with the spark of God from which they originated. Be at peace in knowing this. For additional, more detailed information about the dying process, go to the etheric body and scroll down to number 16. Are you in need of the healing energies of the Ascended Master Kuthumi? Visit KuthumiHands.com.